How are you doing? I really hope that the answer is good. Baruch Hashem. It reminds me a little bit of the Baal Shem Tov, the founder of the Hasidic movement. He used to make an effort to go to simple people, people who were not that learned, people who were often even illiterate. And he would dafka go over to them and he would say to them, "How are you?" And he would encourage them to respond. And they didn't need much encouragement. It kind of came naturally to them to respond, Baruch Hashem, or Adank Got, which is variations on a theme, different ways of thanking Hashem for their circumstances. And on one particular occasion, the Baal Shem Tov landed up in a particular town, and the town had somebody who was very revered, who was held in high esteem, and he was a very great person, learned person. And the townspeople used to boast about him, that this fellow sat in the shul all day by himself, studying Torah, and he was very focused, and he barely interacted socially with anybody. Kind of like we are at the moment, barely interacting socially. Anyhow, the Baal Shem Tov walks into the shul, and there he sees this fellow poring over his books. The Baal Shem Tov sits down opposite him. He doesn't flinch. Now, at that point, the Baal Shem Tov was not yet known. People didn't recognize him. People didn't know that he was a sage or a scholar. He sits down opposite this fellow who's deeply engrossed in his learning, and he says to him, "How are you?" Nothing. He says to him again, "How are you?" No response. So the Baal Shem Tov says, "Why do you deprive God of his livelihood?" Well, that was too much for this person to handle, and he looks up from his book, obviously quite agitated. He says, "What on earth are you talking about?" And the Baal Shem Tov says, in our daily prayers we say, "Va'ata kadosh, you God are holy, Yoshev tehilos Yisrael, you are settled." The word Yoshev means to sit or to be settled. You are settled through the praises of Israel. And the Baal Shem Tov went on to explain that when we do a simple thing, as to say, Baruch Hashem, thank God, that brings tremendous nachas to Hashem. It also obviously creates an awareness for us, but more importantly, it creates a connection and bond between God and us, and through that bond, we get to have a lot more bracha in our lives. Right now, there's plenty that people are moaning about and complaining about, and there's plenty to be grateful for. But there's one thing that we definitely should be doing at this time, as much as possible, to say, Baruch Hashem. Thank God. Thank God we are privileged. Thank God we have health. Thank God we have families. Thank God we have homes. Thank God we have good weather. Thank God we live in a modern world. Thank God for a million things. Baruch Hashem. It's something worth including into our vocabulary. Please God, we'll always have what to say. Thank God for. Have a wonderful day and keep safe. Stay sane.